What is going on, my party people? Welcome back to another video. Promised you, if you saw my short, I promised you I was going to make a video on this, so here we go. So today I'm making a video on my newly purchased camera. If you saw my short, it'll come up on the screen here. Make sure you go watch it. It's the unboxing of this camera. So right here I have a Canon 5D Classic. No Mark II, no Mark III, no Mark IV, just a Canon 5D Classic. You may be wondering, Ryan, isn't that camera old? Yeah, it's 21 years old. It's actually almost older than I am. And I hope if any of you are older than me or are older than this camera and see this, I hope you feel old, because that's kind of funny. So anyway, why did I buy this camera? All right, there's a couple reasons, and we'll just go down the list, get these out of the way. First, obviously you could see I love shooting film. I have a Mamiya C330 and all of these other film cameras. Love shooting film. It's actually the median? I don't know. It is the format I prefer, let's say that. But with a lot of people getting into it and there not being a lot of people producing film, now that has started ramping up. New companies are getting back into the scene. We have Kodak Eastman coming back in, but film is expensive. All right, I think a roll of Ectacolor, which is Kodak Eastman's version of Portra 400, a roll of that at my local film lab is like $19. $19 for a roll of film, I guess, is not terrible for what I want to be doing, but I can't, especially on the budget I'm now at.
What?
I'm on now, having a house and everything. I can't just drop $19 on one roll of film all the time, and then, you have to pay to get it developed and scanned, so on and so forth. So I was like, back to basics. So how do I want to take pictures, right? All right, well, sorry, I was looking for my R6 Mark II, but that's actually what I'm filming on. I guess I'll have to use this camera. But the thing is, it's not that it's big, because it's actually smaller than the 5D Classic here. But it's just, it feels too new. Now, part of the reason I like shooting film is because, it feels very analog. The cameras are heavy. They have a lot of weight to them. They feel like they're built well, right? So when I go to the R6 Mark II, that's mainly plastic. Now it is heavy, but it doesn't have the same feel. And I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you also shoot film and digital. So I started doing research, and now I know people love the Fujifilm cameras and blah, 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 but they are just so expensive. I can't remember exactly what the camera is. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, so the Fuji X100VI right now on KEH is still going for $1,700, and I know that's kind of the camera that everybody prefers when they go smaller Fujifilm, same form factor as a film camera, right? That's out of the budget. I could buy so many rolls of film for that camera. So I kind of gave up on the search. I was like, I'll use film and I'll use my R6 Mark II, and I'll just, try to get the colors I like out of it. Well, then the YouTube algorithm was selling me some gold, because I found a whole bunch of videos about this Canon 5D Classic. And obviously I never experienced it, one, because it was absurdly expensive when it first came out. But two, I would have never seen it. They're kind of, I don't want to say they're rare, but because they're so old, you don't see a lot of them just out and about anymore, right? So then came this camera, and I was seeing some comparisons on YouTube of this camera with some other Nikons and this camera with Portra, and let me just tell you, the colors it produces are so close to Portra, it's kind of crazy. Now, obviously when they came out with this, it was one of the first professional DSLRs after the film era, so naturally their inspiration are going to be built off of film. I'm sure they did want to do something to set it apart from film, kind of build that barrier, but obviously if it's taking inspiration, it's still going to look like the colors. And now the camera's simplistic, okay? So if we look here, and I turn it on, this is it. This is the camera, right? And the screen, there's no live preview, and if you hit menu, it shows you what your settings are, and then you could obviously look at the pictures you've taken, and that's it. So when you're shooting, it's all through the viewfinder, which I love. Even on my R6 Mark II, I was trying to manually use the viewfinder. Now this was already checking off boxes for me, because this is exactly what I wanted from a camera that would kind of not be replacing my film, but when I didn't have the money to buy a roll of film or get it developed, I was going to pick up this camera. So I went on eBay, I made a few offers, didn't really get accepted, and then I was like, all right, let me go on MPB, right? Because at least on MPB they have I believe it's a 6-month warranty, and they tell you the condition right out of the gate, which is a big thing, because on eBay it says for parts or new but not tested, so a lot of the times you don't actually know what you're getting from eBay. So that's why I went to MPB. The 5D was marked as well used, so that means, I don't know why I did quotes there. It means that there are some like slight scratches on the outside. As you can see, the hot shoe here is a little scratched up. The little doors on the side are missing, but overall, like it's still in beautiful shape for a 21-year-old camera, and they guarantee that there's not going to be any problems with the sensor, the shutter, and everything works. So it was the camera, an aftermarket battery, the charger, and the body caps, and then I know people rave about the 40 mil pancake lens. 40 mil is a weird focal length for me. I'm either 50 or 28, and mainly 28, right? So I went and I bought the EF 28 mil. It's let's see, it's also f2.8. That in itself was $179, not terrible at all. And now I didn't want to buy a CF card because I could only find large formats that were really expensive, because nobody really makes CF cards like that anymore. So what I did is I had an extra SD card that wasn't powerful enough or didn't have good enough specs for my R6 laying around, just in case I ever needed a spare SD card. So instead, I used it on the 5D, and I have it adapted to a CF card to put into the 5D, and this adapter here was $18.18, which steal. So altogether, not including the adapter off of MPB, I spent $360 after tax. Now a camera, a battery, and a lens for $360 is film camera prices. Now that's what I was going for, film camera prices, because they're just cheap. I mean, $40, $80, $160. I got my Pentax K1000 for free, and my C330 was $300 in itself. So this was right on par with the rest of my collection. Those were the main reasons I bought the camera, and just because it looked beautiful. And I know there are a lot of other videos on this camera already. I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but I am passionate about this camera and this channel, so you better watch this video, okay? I like the camera. I think it's a fun camera, but I will go into the specs, and then after that we will go out and actually shoot with the camera, because that's one thing that I've seen with the other videos, is that people talk about the camera and then they just show pictures. They're not out in the field, they're not showing you how the camera's working, any nuances, and so on and so forth. So we are actually going to go out and shoot. I'm going to put a GoPro on, and we're going to walk down the beach where I've been continuing this project that I've been working on for about a year or so already. But some quick specs. So it's a full frame camera. It has a 12.8 megapixel sensor. So in today's standards, that is not a lot. But as you'll see later in the video, you'll be thoroughly impressed with how good these images still look even today. And it's 110% still better than an iPhone camera, and I know that's what a lot of people love to compare cameras to. This camera goes from ISO 100 to 1600, and then there's a high and low. The high is sorry, I got my spec sheet here. The high is 3200 and the low is 50. There's 9 points of autofocus, and it shoots in RAW, and really other than that, there's nothing else you really need. Doesn't do video, just does photos. And there are a couple things that I have adjusted with the camera. So one of the things I changed with the camera is the picture style. I think everybody just shoots on standard, and that's how they're getting the portrait colors, but I actually took mine, and sometimes I leave it in the center. I use the user define 1 preset, and then I go down to color tone, and I did it 2 clicks to the right. Sometimes I keep it right in the middle at 0. Sometimes I put it positive. It kind of makes the greens a little more green. I know portrait's a little more yellow, but that's why sometimes I put it back to default and sometimes I adjust it. Just depends on what kind of colors I'm going for on that day. I've shot with this camera once already, gotten the pictures in, loved them, and all I've done is change clarity to kind of give that hazy film look. I've adjusted the vibrance probably +8, and then the white balance, and really that's it. That's really all I adjust when I get back. And so far I've been loving this camera. So with all of that being said, we are going to go shoot. And then after we go out and shoot, I'll do a sit down where we kind of look over the photos, see how the 12.8 megapixels hold up today, and kind of look over the colors. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. I'll be having more camera videos, more car videos, and I don't know, maybe some other kind of videos. If you guys have any ideas, post in the comments down below. So with that being said, I'll see you guys there. Welcome to the beach, everyone. Me and Lizzie decided to go hang out, so we are indeed filming this part on the same day. I'll have my GoPro on my chest, walk around, take some pictures, and after that we'll go back to Ryan in the office and we'll go over them, go over the colors and such. As you can see, they're actually doing work on this pier. During the last hurricane, it was knocked down, so they're rebuilding it. So they had to build a pier to build the pier. I think you can see it, hopefully. It's over there.
Now as you can see, the screen is not the brightest, so, and it's also not very color accurate. So you could basically see if you got the frame, but the colors and the exposure, this is not going to help you. I've actually, even inside it's a little hard to see. I've been using the screen up here. It's been the easiest way to check my exposure. So just note that if you're going to use this for street photography or anything of that sort. With that being said, I think we got enough content down here at the beach, you know, to analyze a few pictures. So back to Ryan in the office.
Thank you, Beach Ryan. I appreciate you throwing it back to us, Office Ryan. Thank you very much. Anyway, sorry if the setup is a little different. I filmed a reel after I did the last part. I don't know, I should have done that after I filmed all of this, because how am I supposed to physically put the camera back in the same exact place? Anyway, we're back. We're gonna go over some of the photos that you saw, and then there's one that you didn't see that I'm also gonna go over. I took it after I did my whole GoPro on the chest segment. The first picture up is going to be the lifeguard picture. I have the picture on my phone here, and then I'll put it on the screen for you guys. So this picture, I think it's a lovely picture. It's going to be a great addition to my project. So this is what I love about the Canon 5D colors, right? The sky, in editing, I will say, it's been warmed up. You know, the clarity, texture, dehaze have been changed to make it a little more glowy. And then the hue for blue is like 2 ticks to the left, making it a little more turquoise. Other than that, everything is straight out of camera. So you can see here the blue is, it's a nice in-between of blue and turquoise. All the colors are very vibrant. That red is very nice. The green, nice. As you can see, it leans a little more towards green than Portra, but then when you warm it up, you know, you kind of get all that back, all that warmth back. I love this picture. It'd be a great addition to the project. I just like how the lifeguard, even though, you know, he has a job, sitting on a nice beach all day, he just looks a little fatigued, a little worn out because of how hot the sun is. And I think that's just a great tell of Flagler Beach. You know, the beach is beautiful, but also it could get tiring and very warm at the end of the day. So the next picture here is actually going to be no swimming picture. I also really love this picture, and I think it's just because, you know, on one side here we have the no swimming and the sign points to the left, and then the lifeguard is over there reprimanding the teens in the water on the right side of the sign, even though technically they're still allowed to swim there, but you know, whatever. I'm not a lifeguard, I'm not the teens. Doesn't bother me. Again, love how vibrant the red is. I like how the water is like slightly turquoise, slightly green. I love when water is that hue, especially it gives a nice contrast against the blue sky. And again, we have that nice blue / turquoise sky. It looks very nice. And then I again did the same kind of edits, and the whole picture has been warmed up once again. And then lastly here, you guys actually didn't see this picture. This was a picture I took afterwards, but this is just the epitome of Florida, okay? One side of the beach on the right side of the pier is just completely clear, beautiful blue skies, as you saw from my other pictures. The left side of the beach, thunder and lightning. I don't know if it was raining, I didn't go over there, but I'm sure that side of the beach was closed down. Now, again, same edits to this picture. I love how the greens up on the left are a nice yellow green. The yellow is very vibrant, the blue is vibrant, and I like that the blue of the items on the beach is different from the blue of the sky. I just like that there's that good separation. And then again, the water, I keep saying and again, I'm sorry. And then the water is that nice green turquoise color that I love. So I think you guys will be able to see from these pictures how close the colors are to film. And I didn't change any of the colors other than that little change to blue. Everything is straight out of camera, and you too can achieve those colors if you get this 5D Classic. Now, final thoughts. Will I be keeping the 5D Classic? Yes, I think it's a great camera to pick up, like I said, when I can't afford film or when I just need a break from film. And it's also just a good camera to have fun with. I know James Popsis, I've mentioned him on the channel before. He just made a video about having fun cameras, and what fun cameras do for you is, you know, reignite that passion for photography when you feel a little burned out. And that's how I feel between having film cameras to use and having a digital camera to use. And I think the 5D Classic is a close enough digital camera to film that it's not such a huge switch up like film to the R6 Mark II. That it'll keep my skills sharp for film, and it's all around just a lot of fun. So I will be keeping it while I keep using it. Yes, I do have a roll of Fujifilm 400 and the Pentax K1000 I need to finish, and then I also have some Kentmere Pan 400 and the Mamiya C330 that I want to try a couple things out. I want to get like a rocket launch in and maybe some water motion stuff. And then I'll be carrying this around every now and then. Maybe this will be the daily carry, but it'll be out and about. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope if you're looking for a 5D Classic that I inspired you to grab it, because as you can see from these pictures, they hold up. 12 megapixels is still enough and still better than your iPhone at the end of the day. So let me know in the comments down below, would you guys pick up a 5D Classic? I'm interested to see your thoughts, and if you did pick up a 5D Classic recently, let me know how much you got it for and where you got it from. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will be more to come. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and leave in the comments what you guys want to see next. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one.